Kedu Adama Ndewo Endibo biko vote Obu Buhari ma Obu Jonathan, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
To you decide. We give you information, facts, and analysis. Today is a very special day in the life of this program. We have again with us now the national chairman of All Progressive Congress. It is a rare privilege. I remember before he became the chairman, he was in a program and he came in and we had a nice discussion. One of the reasons why I love the chairman of APC is that while he was the governor of Edo State, it was on record, still on record, that he was very, very clean. We appreciate people who have gone through positions in Nigeria and they still bear their clean record that is not known to corruption, and we have to applaud this like we have applauded many other Nigerians who have come clean when they were in position. I'm talking of no other person but Chief John Oyedin. Chief Oyedin, you're welcome to the program.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
We want to congratulate you because we know the rigor of going up and down length and breadth of Nigeria trying to push the presidential candidate and indeed all the other candidates of APC to win. And I want to give you these first few minutes. How has it been trying to unseat the president of Nigeria in the coming election? What are your immediate thoughts?
Well, it's been very rough. It's been very tough. But it's been a most satisfying experience. A most rewarding experience. There's nothing as good as when you want to get something done. And the response is so tremendous from the people. You thought you were preaching to them, but they were ready for you. All this time, they were ready for you. So they have, so to speak, internalized our message. And the response you get is so tremendous that whatever hard work you put in, you feel good, you feel rewarded, you feel satisfied, and you feel that you are contributing in a very major way to changing the course of history. Yes,
the word is change, isn't it? And you just use it to changing the course. Let me ask you, many Nigerians, especially the floating voters, they're thinking, what exactly and how do you exactly want to make these changes to come to pass? What are the issues? We have heard you saying corruption, saying infrastructures, and one other thing. Now, we want to hear from you, sir, these points, and then how do you intend to go about them so that we can discuss them with you?
Yeah, well, first, what we did right was to accept that the age of telling people what you think they need is past.
Okay.
And so one of the first things we did before we even got to putting our manifesto together was to go to the people. We had a huge team out in every nook and cranny of that nation. What are the problems? How do you, the people, perceive them? What do you, the people, want? What are your priorities? And at the end of that, we came out with a blueprint of what the people actually have told us are the issues. and what they want addressed.
Can we have 3 or 4 of these issues?
The first of it, surprisingly, we thought security will be the number one, but surprisingly, jobs.
Jobs.
People just want something to do.
Especially when we remember those who died at the immigration trying to get
precisely, for which nobody has been even reprimanded, not to talk of punished. Okay. So jobs was number one. Number 2 was security.
Okay.
And number 3 was corruption. So if you want just 3,
okay, let's talk about those issues. So jobs, corruption, security and corruption. Sir, how will the APC federal government create more jobs that the present government has not done?
Simple. Priority number 1, let us get the power sector right. Because whoever comes and tells you that, oh, Nigeria is progressing, yet we have what, less than 3,000 megawatts of electricity, is telling you it's a very bad joke. Because it is power that fuels any economy.
Okay.
Why? When you have power, the shoemaker can work, the tailor can work, the furniture maker can work, the welder can work. And we have these people in the millions in that country who are potential employers of labor.
Very few people will argue with you that if you have electric power, there will be more jobs created. Very few people will argue that one. The question is, with this mess that have been created for 50 years, not having adequate electricity. South Africa had 40 megawatts and they were saying it was inadequate, talk less of 3 megawatts. Now, if we hear that one, how do you want to go against all those who are holding us down to this powerlessness? How do you intend? Because yes, you will get us more power. Obasanjo administration spent, we were told, and he did contradict it, $16 billion, and he never left anything beyond 4,000 megawatts. Now, Jonathan administration has not been able to push us to 10 or 20.
No, it has dropped. It has dropped to less than 3.
So how do you want to now get us there?
Well, it may sound a bit simplistic, but at the bottom of our national problems is that single word, corruption. The power sector had become one of the milk cows of the PDP. And so you never get results. Money goes in, nothing comes out. And so once you can fix that, China builds one power station of, what, how many megawatts? Every week.
Every week?
Every single week.
So
how come we cannot precisely, that simple word, corruption? The system has been so destroyed by corruption. That becomes the single occupation of governance in that country today. And believe me, that is not an exaggeration. I'm not trying to run down the administration. That is the bottom.
Yes, I mean, for any average Nigerian, he knows corruption is even wider than the government. It's in the society. And the society has been affected that if nothing goes without a form of money exchanging hands when there should not be money. So the challenge is, okay, how does the APC administration want to challenge this corruption? Because corruption, sir, is so deep that if we were to define it, the police, the immigration, the customs and excise, the NAFDAC, all the agencies of government, and including the companies. It's only in Nigeria you want to buy Coca-Cola and then you have to bribe the driver who will bring the drinks to your store. I mean, we're talking at different levels of corruption. How will APC administration attack this one?
See, corruption has become institutionalized.
Unfortunately.
When they say the people are also corrupt, I sometimes dispute it. Not often, because I don't think that is correct. A fish starts getting rotten from the head. Once you have the symbol of the nation who is known to be corrupt, then of course every other thing for that becomes the standard, the gauge that everybody follows. But we are going to have, for the first time in that nation, a man who is totally incorruptible, totally incorruptible, whose word is his bond. That alone, and who enforces the law and will insist on the law being enforced. We have laws against corruption.
Yeah.
All over the place. But tell me, which one is enforced?
But at what point did this corruption, this principality of corruption, at what point did it enter Nigeria? Was it at the beginning of Jonathan administration 6 years ago, or the beginning of Obasanjo, which is the PDP administration in 1999, or in 1960?
Corruption has been there from biblical times. It is part of what we have to live with in the world. So when people say corruption is worldwide and try to simplify the Nigerian situation, I laugh. The Nigerian situation has grown. You cannot say it started with A or B, but it has grown to a stage now that it is part of the framework of government. In fact, government is based on corruption. It has become the justification
Elections.
for the government that we have today, corruption. So that is the state, the welfare of the people, the purpose of governance have all been relegated to the background, and the main business of the nation today is corruption. And our candidate, General Muhammadu Buhari, put it very succinctly, beautifully. Said, if we do not kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria. That is the level to which it has been elevated.
When you say the government, a person like me, I'm thinking there are three levels of government. The federal government, the state government, and the local government. And when I hear government, I try to say, okay, at the federal level, at the state level, at the local government level. General Buhari, if he should become the next president, how will he tackle? Is he tackling the federal government alone, or the various state governments, or the various local governments? Because we need to break this down.
I think the point is clear. That you are now going to have a national leader who will not tolerate corruption. That alone sends a signal down the entire system. Not only will he not tolerate it, he will rigorously ensure that due process, the law of the land, is enforced. And the laws are there. Our problem is lack of enforcement. The effect of an example, the effect of a leader that will not tolerate X, it seeps down the entire framework of governance, whether it's state or local level. But what is important, if you do the crime, you must be ready to do the time. So corruption, the laws against corruption will be rigorously enforced. And whatever level, it doesn't matter.
Are you ready to take telephone calls?
Yes.
Yeah, people are going to call. If it's a reasonable question, I'll allow you to take it.
No problem. Even if it's unreasonable, I will take it.
You still take it?
Problem.
All right, we have callers on. Hello, who is our first caller to Chief Oyegu? And if you don't get us on telephone, you can email us nigeriansdecide@yahoo.com. Yes, first caller.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, your name. Where are you calling from?
My name is Jamila.
Yes.
I'm calling from Surrey.
Okay, ma'am.
I'm a medical practitioner in this country.
Okay, ma'am.
And I'm happy that the APC people are able to come to this country.
Okay.
To be able to interact with the Nigerian community here. Because I've been following the way the election has been going in Nigeria. My question to Dr. Oyegun is, what is APC going to do the way the incumbent government are using the law enforcement people to muzzle up opposition? Because I can see that the law enforcement are in the pocket of the ruling party. Look at what is happening in Rivers State. Each time they stage a campaign, it's obviously that it's a sponsored disruption. And the law enforcement looks the other way. But if APC throws pure water, that is highlighted on and on and on and on. So what APC needs to strengthen themselves and cry out about the impartiality of our law enforcement.
Okay. Thank you very much. What's your reaction?
Thank you very, very much indeed. I'm glad you are a very keen observer of what is going on in the country, but I'll be very brief and short. There is no power yet that is greater than the power of the people. And that balance, when a horse is dying, don't get near the hind legs, because it kicks, and it kicks very, very hard. So we expect some of the things that are happening, but the force that we have behind us, that is the massive support of the Nigerian people. There is no, including some of these security services, including them. They too are Nigerians. They experience what we are experiencing, but we know that they just have to obey certain orders. But the power of the people, you cannot prevail against it.
We have an email here from Gazama. He is trying to be a senator in Nigeria, is contesting, but he's a councillor here right now. He said, Mr. Chairman, that's you. How can an APC differentiate itself from the arrogant PDP, the big crowd following my mentor Buhari, who is hijacked by sycophantic new allies? He said, how do you differentiate yourself, your party APC, from PDP, and that there is a sycophantic few surrounding General Muhammadu Buhari?
Oh, there will always be sycophants, and I know General Buhari very, very well. I know he's a man who surrounds himself, when the time comes to get the job done, with quality people. He has been head of state before, and at that time I was a federal permanent secretary. Okay. And I know I was one of their principal, so to speak, workhorses that they use. So it goes for quality. The difference is very clear between the PDP
and the
APC. Our manifesto says it all. What we tell the public says it all. The requirements of the country that we have gotten from the people says it all.
Your catchphrase is change. The catchphrase of PDP is transformation. Are they not the same thing? No. When you transform from one thing to another, you change from one thing to another. What's the difference between change and transformation?
No. You see, you do not cure cancer with malaria tablets. That's transformation. That's transformation. And what we want to do is pure surgery. Take out the tumor.
Oh, okay.
Take it out. We just have to take. Nigeria needs drastic change. A change of direction. We don't have values anymore. We don't have morals anymore. There are no standards anymore in that country.
Okay.
Nobody asks questions. How you get your money?
Let's take a telephone call. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes, your name, where are you calling from?
Hello, good morning. My name is Steve, calling from North London.
Okay.
Two quick questions for Chief Oyegun. It was reported in the press some time that he did say that the APC will form a parallel government if the election.
Yes. Your question quickly.
Did he actually make a statement like that? If he did, does he understand that statement is treasonable? That's one question. Second question is, what are his legacy as the former governor of Edo State?
Okay, thank you. Because of time, we will just go straight. Did you at any time say that you are going to form a parallel government?
Oh yes, I did say so. But it was conditional.
Yeah.
If we do not have a free, fair, and credible election.
We will not be seen as treasonable.
No, because any government that goes in by fraud has also committed treason. So it was a very conditional statement, and it was positive.
But why not go to the court? Why not say we will go to the court? And why do you want a parallel government?
Because that is what they always do. General Buhari has been in court 3 times.
Yes.
And the last time in the Supreme Court, it was a casting vote that made him lose.
And the parallel government will it not cause anarchy?
No, it won't.
I mean, there are 2 governments in Nigeria.
Let's get this clear.
Yes, sir.
It was a warning. That's the way he should look at it.
Yes.
There was nothing to. If we go ahead and form a parallel government when there's a legitimate authority. Yes, that's treasonable.
You have to answer this question, sir. Yeah. It's from one Dr. Clement Otto. I don't know these people. They just send it to Nigeria. He says, please, could I ask your guests to clear the air on the state of General Buhari's health? This is from Dr. Clement Otto. This is not my question.
No, that's one of the biggest jokes. And you know who is peddling it? Governor Fayez here of Ekiti. A man who totally lacks credibility. General Buhari has gone through a rigorous campaign program, and he's still on his 2 feet. He did not come here because he needed medical attention. He came here because the elections were shifted by 6 solid weeks. Yeah. And he had time to come and interact with the diaspora. We have discovered that the diaspora are one of the most important tools in the elections that are now underway, because they have helped us keep the international community, their host governments. They've helped brief them on the reality of the Nigerian situation, to the extent that today most governments around the world realize that we are sitting on a time bomb, and are doing everything to help Nigeria not to implode. So the diaspora has been fantastic. So since we have a break, we might as well come
meet them. Will
come around, meet them. Yes, we met them. We met them. I was with one group yesterday. It was fantastic. That's the APC.
General Buhari was not there.
No, he was not. We have to spread that.
You have to spread yourself. Okay, let's have the next caller. Hello, who's calling?
Hello, good morning, Dr. Johnson.
Good morning. Your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Prince Leia, one of your regular callers.
Yes, sir.
And I'd like to appreciate the presence of His Excellency Dr. Oyego. And I was privileged to meet him in person last night at a meeting held in Oakland Road at the Lasting Arms. I was one of those standing in the front row, and it was a pleasure meeting you, sir.
Thank you.
Malamel Rufai and Eli Mohammed and the rest of your entourage. It was a pleasure, and it was a wonderful meeting.
Good.
Yeah, one of the questions that I wanted to ask, which I couldn't get due to time factor, was that if APC, and as we pray, become the next government in Nigeria, what will the government do about this minimum wage? Because 20,000 naira, I begin to 80,000. I think that we claim to be the minimum wage in Nigeria. When you buy a recharge card, or you fuel your car or your generator at home, 18,000 naira is gone. So what will the government of APC do in order to better the loss of the living condition of the Nigerian people, workers and other people like that, minimum wage? And that's number one. Number two, I love the man General Buhari. I met him, I think, 2011 at a meeting in Kensington Gardens somewhere when he came on a similar campaign stuff that time. But yesterday it was a pity that we couldn't meet him, that he couldn't be present because of other, present factor. But however, we are wishing, we know he has done it before. And I asked myself, because when I read in the newspapers of Nigeria, people like Bodejo saying that if General Buhari wins, he's going to run away.
Okay, your question, we just have to make it brief. Oh, okay. He says 18,000 naira is not even enough to polish shoes. How do you want to?
Well, let me start with the last one. He says, George said he will run away, but that's part of democracy. If he feels that one, he has committed such heinous crimes that nobody is likely to forgive, not even a General Buhari, and if he feels that he cannot adjust to a Nigeria that now has ethics, that now has values, that is totally anti-corruption, well, it's a free choice, it's a democratic country. To answer the first question, this is it will be a people's government. It will be a government that sees that the welfare of the Nigerian, average Nigerian, is the core of its mission. So things like that will be looked at. But let us realize one fact. The country's economy today is collapsing, thanks to not just the oil, falling oil prices, but also total misgovernment.
But they say we are the best in the best economy in Africa.
We are the largest, due to rebasing. Well,
no, because
I don't want to go to
okay, this is the largest economy. Okay, all right, go ahead.
But the people's welfare will be at the core of everything. And the first thing will be to manage the economy, stabilize the situation, and then, of course, the welfare of the people will be number one priority.
Okay, welfare of the people, but he was talking about...
That's the
bottom line. That's the bottom line. Okay, we want to ask, this particular candidate is asking, he says, good morning, sir. Greetings to Dr. Egun. I wish the AP well, sir. This is Martin Bolagun. He says, how will your party handle social injustice in Nigeria? In advanced countries, this is taken seriously. PDP has never mentioned that. How will your party handle social injustice? This is from Martin Bolagun.
Yeah, the APC has a very detailed program of social welfare.
Okay.
We are going to also have an ombudsman. We are going to have assisted legal processes for those who cannot afford to go to court. We're going to have social welfare payments in that country for the first time. We are going to have payments, at least some allowances, for those who are looking for work actively, looking for work. We are going to have retraining programs for them until they become 38, 30. If they are seriously looking for a job, they are going to get allowances. So we have a package. I brought quite a few of our manifestos.
Okay.
And I think we will take time and...
There's a very serious question that has been hanging on the neck of APC, and I'm so glad you are here. You'll be able to answer it.
Yeah.
This question is from one of our viewers from Russia. It says, what's the position of APC on some of the recommendations of the National Conference? The President Jonathan has been going around. We will implement all the good parts of the National Conference reports. APC was not available to be there. What's your position, sir? You are the chairman.
If a man who has been in office for 6 years,
yes, sir,
and I don't know how many years after the National Conference, because his position is now threatened in an election, that is when he's coming out to say he will implement the recommendations of the National. Is that believable? That report has been on his desk these many months, and he has done nothing. So it is just a ploy. Our candidate, General Buhari, has said quite clearly that he is going to operate a truly federal system, which means that we are going to revert to the power structure in the country. We are going to look at the distribution of responsibilities as between state, federal, and local authorities. So we're going to have a true federation, a proper federal system, with all that this implies.
I'm going to ask you a follow-up question.
Means devolution of responsibilities, devolution of resources, and to some extent, devolution of control, because we are going to have a different system. We don't, for example, need to have a situation where it is the government that runs the oil industries. It doesn't happen like that in the US. It doesn't happen like that in most other societies. So all these things are in the melting pot. We don't have to trumpet it, but he has made that statement quite clearly. True federalism.
True federalism. I'll try to remember. We have a telephone caller. Hello, who's calling? Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name, where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Gabriel calling from Germany.
Okay, from Germany. Go on.
Yeah. Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, Chief.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Yeah. Morning to your elbow, sir.
Oh, bless
Thank
you.
for coming here.
Thank you.
So I'm happy that you made mention of power, which is the key factor to any developing nation. And that power now is about to drive many people out of Nigeria because they can no longer afford to buy a diesel over their generator for their small business. Please, sir, I've already answered my question. Make sure you always be in contact with the vice president and the general from time to time, that they should keep that promise of power, because that is the key. That is the key to any economy of the nation. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you very much, all the way from Germany. Before we take the next,
I promise you that will be kept. Power is critical, and it's going to be one of our #1 priorities.
Thank you, sir. From Ajibade Olalere, Mr. Chairman, sir, It's great to see you, sir. My question is, people believe GMB is incorruptible, but the problem is, how is it going to tackle a situation whereby most of the members who surround GMB will be part of the government? These members contributed financially to GMB campaign. Will they have the audacity to prosecute them? That's from Ola Liri.
Well, I will only refer you back to GMB's short period as head of state. That is one man who, if it's even his mother that commits an offense, he will not hesitate one bit in making sure that the law take its proper course. So don't even entertain any fear. All of us walking around him know him. He is the man at this stage. We are talking of saving a country. And he's the man at this stage that fits the bill to the letter. And he will not, I want to give you that assurance. I've worked with him and I know the man, tolerate corruption from whatever quarter. Let's face it, people can make money by doing things the right way. That's what business is all about. You don't have to go to the public till to help yourself. That is what Buhari is against. You want to make money, you are capable, you can perform contracts, you can build roads, you can do whatever, no problem. But don't interfere with the public till. Full stop.
Full stop. We have email here. We have several emails, and we have callers calling in. It's a record. This is from Udoka Chukwe. I don't know these people, and I don't know where they get their facts from, but I simply read them. It's a record that General Buhari never spent more than 5 minutes on his presidential campaigns. Sir, is this not a warning sign as regards his health? I don't know this guy, but I'm just reading.
Well, let me say this. There's nothing there. If you watch the campaigns, you will see how intense they have been. We had just about a month to go around the entire nation, which meant that we had to do 2 states on every single day, which meant that you could not possibly spend time. It's not just General Buhari, all of us. We spoke very, very briefly, which meant that you could not afford to spend time on any particular location. You had to see the traditional rulers, you had to travel by road, you have to fly, you have to see the traditional ruler, you have to go to the campaign venue at every location. And the frenzy was such that you did not, and you cannot even speak for long. It wasn't a debating society. These were people who just wanted to see the general. They were already convinced. The people had internalized the cry for change. So there wasn't much to preach about. They don't wanted to see us. They wanted to see him. They wanted to hear him say, please vote for me. End of story.
Okay, this is from one caller. It says, at what point is the GMB government going to draw line on corruption? Is it with past or from when in office? That is it going to go to the past and all of you who have stolen, or is going to draw the line and say, look, from now on, I've been elected?
Well,
and
he has spoken very clearly on this.
Okay.
One, he's not going to interfere with any ongoing judicial processes. 1. 2, he's not going to set up commissions of inquiry into the past. 3, he's going to draw the line on May 30th, I think. Yes. And his focus is on the future. His focus is stabilizing the economy. His focus will be to improve the welfare of the people, not in witch hunting, what has gone in the past. But of course, if those that are of the past want to bring back some of the loot to the country, and all, we will be ready to listen.
I hope you don't mind. We're asking these questions because we don't see you every day. So we will ask every question.
Please go ahead.
We have a caller. Hello, who's calling?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name, sir?
I'm calling from Camberwell.
From Camberwell, London here.
Thank you very much for bringing my elderly uncle down here. Thank you very much. I'm very happy, you know.
Okay.
The first question is this. If election is not hold on 28th of March, what will APC do? That's first question.
Okay, second?
My second question is this. Please, your strategy now must be changed. I want you as a member who will vote for APC, please try to be going through the king. Educate all the king, all the traditional society. Things that you want to do. And again, your people here, the APC member in the diaspora, they are not very, very enlightened about many APC programs. When they bring them to the studio, they don't so much answer questions like the way you answer. Please, can you give them one person from Nigeria who will be in this diaspora, who will be going along with them?
Now, I have to say, this is his own opinion.
Yeah, no,
this is his own opinion.
It is valuable advice. Thank you. I have heard you, I have listened to you, and we will look at ourselves again. And whatever needs to be improved, yes, we will, of course.
He said you need to educate the chiefs and the kings.
At home, yes, of course. We all need to be educated. That we cannot, as a country, go on the way we have been going. It's just not on. It's just not acceptable.
This is from Wasiu.
So thank you for your advice, sir.
Okay. It's from Wasiu Omotayo. Happy to see you, sir. Mr. Chairman, please, how does your government going to standardize our educational and health system?
Well, it's difficult to tell you right now. What we will do when we get there, we are going to check and see what kind of rot there is. It is clear that our education is no longer functional. It is clear that we are training glorified illiterates. We are producing people who cannot be useful to themselves. So there's going to be a lot of emphasis on skills acquisition at virtually every level of our educational system. And of course, we have told the public in our manifesto that the first 9 years will not only be free, but will be compulsory. And in those years, the pupils, the children are going to be provided with one very square and good meal a day, so that the home background does not affect their learning possibilities and capabilities. And of course, that meal alone will have a lot of spin-off benefits in terms of those who provide the food, in terms of those who grow the food, and so on and so forth. So that alone will have...
Yeah, I know that Afenifere has attacked the meal system, say that one meal could not revolutionize Nigeria. What's your reaction?
Well, then they are not thinking right. Because one, you improve the infrastructure. In all APC states, we have fantastic schools now. The very best, I must say, is River State, with some truly, truly extraordinary structures. You see, the child is happy to leave home and go to school because the environment there is new. It is something of a very high level. And in all APC states, the structures have been totally modernized.
Yes.
And the addition of a meal, not, you see, that fellow is talking from an elitist position. We all know what we went through as kids. The advantage of having a very good meal with your colleagues at school also adds to the attraction of the child wanting to come to school. Apart, of course, from the other agricultural benefits. You can imagine how many millions of children eat at school every day in an APC government, and the spin-offs
I want to ask you a personal question that bothers my mind. How do you handle, APC, how do you handle all those state challenges from other parties, not necessarily PDP? For instance, in Ogun State, you have SDP forcing its way through, and with PDP coming up with Benga Dane joining. How do you handle in Oyo State? You have Ladoja and Labour Party and Accord. Pockets of challenges in all those states. And of course, you are the chairman. How do you handle all these ones beyond PDP?
Well, that will always happen. It's inevitable. But the whole nation knows today that there are two parties. Those are local issues arising from local differences between the people. Yes, it makes things a little bit more complex.
Yes.
But by and large, there are only two parties, the APC and the PDP, that is our #1 challenger. And we're managing those local issues.
One email says you've not answered the question on March 28th. If the election does not hold in March 28th, what will APC do?
Oh,
Yes,
that was a fantastic man, the man from Camberwell.
Yes.
I think he asked that question.
Yeah.
Look, let me say this. I am not a prophet. I don't see into the future.
Yes.
But it is something that will make me shudder. I will shudder because if you have watched the campaigns in Plateau State, where we are in opposition, Benue State, where we are in opposition, Kano, where we are in government, and of all places, Maiduguri, where there is an insurgency going on. And you tell me that any government will dare to have a second postponement, it won't be left to APC thereafter. We just pray that the worst case scenario does not happen.
We have a caller. Hello, who's calling? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, your name, ma'am. Where are you calling from?
My name is Princess Rose.
Okay.
I'm calling from London here.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I have 5 short questions to ask.
5?
Yeah, very short.
Quickly.
Okay, the first question is that he said Buhari is not corrupted. But during the time when he was
incorruptible.
There's a record that they said 2.8 billion. He can't answer for it.
Okay, second question.
2, he said he's a poor man, and his wife donated $138 million worth of medication for the poor.
Okay.
And he said he's a poor man. Number 3, his children, all his children, they are in abroad. And he said he's a poor man.
Okay.
Number 4, Buhari said during the time of Abacha that Abacha is not corrupted. But we all can see how much Obasanjo and Jonathan are taken from Abacha regime. And the last question is that what did the governors of all APC did, which PDP did not do? Because I believe the corruption that is in Nigeria now is for both PDP and
APC. Okay, thank you very much because of short of time. Thank you for your 5 questions.
Well, I will just answer with 1 or 2 sentences. If Buhari is corrupt, then he must be very adept at hiding it. Because he's a man who does not have a building in Abuja up to this very moment. The 2.8 billion was explained. It was investigated. It was looked into, and that was totally taken care of. You keep repeating it because it was said at one time, but that issue has been totally and completely cleared.
$138 million.
$138 million, no, naira or something.
Naira, sorry.
Good. That issue was money collected by people. She just happened to be the one that led the team to present this to ID, these internally displaced persons and other people of need. It was just to put her in the public limelight. But the thing was collected by organizations, individuals. It's not that she, from her own resources, took 138 million to go and... let me tell you, if you want to know people who are corrupt, the signs are there. Do you know if he has a building in London? Or if he has a flat in London? Do you know if he has one? You don't hide wealth. It's not possible. And the children being abroad, you are abroad, you are in London. Does it mean you are corrupt parents that sent you here? So that is nothing.
I was just wondering how the general had money to pay for the school fees.
He's a general. He was a former head of state. He has a pension, a very good answer. He leads a very ascetic and modest life. And that was something that happened long ago when money had value. Not today.
And the last question she asked, she said it was on record that Babangida and Buhari at one point said that Abacha never stole money. And of course, we know that $1.2 billion that Abacha stole from Nigeria had been taken back home.
Well, I don't remember that statement and the circumstances in which it was made. If it was
remembrance is a death, you know.
When a man dies, you know, we are Nigerians now. You go to a man's funeral and say, "Wow, what a bad man! What a corrupt man!"
Yes. Hello, who's calling?
Hello.
Yes, your name, sir. Where are you calling from?
Dr. Latif.
Go on, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Latif is the name.
Where are you calling from? Are you from England or Germany or Spain?
Calling from France.
Calling from France. Ça va? Allez.
Yeah. I need to ask you.
Lost him.
No, he's listening to his television. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, don't listen to your television. Just speak to us directly, okay?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're hearing you. Go ahead, ask your question.
Yeah. I heard you said that Buhari is not corrupt.
I didn't say it's not corrupt. I said something stronger. It's incorruptible.
I need to ask you what did Buhari do with Petroleum Trust Fund money?
Well, it means that you don't have your ears to the ground and you have not seen. And that was one of the period where a lot of our infrastructure was, and they still exist till today, was successfully rehabilitated. A lot of the universities were successfully reflated, and so on. The evidence is replete. It is on the ground up to this very day. Unless you have specific cases you want to, don't just throw accusations, be specific.
Okay, all right, I think he's gone. Somebody has a personal question.
Yeah.
His name is Bright Irene. He says, sir, please ask APC National Chairman, while he was Edo State Governor, what did he do for the Edo people? And also ask him why he sold Benin Grand Trade Fair. Sir, that's personal. I don't know.
Well, Benin Grand Trade Fair was not sold. I'm not aware where he got his information from. What I did was quite a lot for somebody who spent 22 months. I don't think it's important. We look at the future. If you go to Benin, you will see what I did. And we now have another progressive governor. If you go to Benin, you will see what he has done in the last 5-6 years. It's a total change. Benin is a new place completely. So please, it's good to be critical, but please get your facts a little bit straight.
Yes, I have a personal question. If we don't have a telephone caller, if you want to email us, it's nigeriansdecide@yahoo.com. I went to the British House of Commons a few weeks ago, and the members of Parliament were afraid that if Buhari should win, there will be policy reversal. And many of the good things that Jonathan presidency had done will be reversed like they do in many African states, and therefore set the nation back. What is your position on policy reversal?
No. There's not going to be that kind of rabid wholesale reversal of policies. No, that won't happen. But anything that needs changing will be changed.
All right. We have a caller. Hello, who's calling?
Hello, hi, my name is Larry.
Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from London.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. My question, gentlemen, there is about the issue of Buhari tackling corruption. Right. During Obama's time, the EFCC was set up. The man and the EFCC, they are doing certain work that's shaping and shaking the politician. He was accused, rightly or wrongly, that he was witch-hunting opposition or people who have whatever it was with him. Then, that was how EFCC was killed. Now, they are being made toothless. They are now troubling ordinary citizens there, talking about Yahoo people, Yahoo that, leaving the politicians alone. Now, you're talking Buhari taking the cancers out with an operation. I hope you have not forgotten that Nigeria is no longer 1994, that he has to go through a process. If we are advocating dictatorship leadership, I want to ask him that. And when he talks about, nothing happens and nothing specific, just bamboos about whatever question anybody has and just use that as if nothing is happening and people are wrong about everything. He has never particularly given us at least a quarter of an index of what they want to do, at least one or two of their policies. agriculture, just a quarter of what they're going to do that will be different from now. About power, what they are going to do that is different from now. How they are going to sort out.
Okay, thank you very much. Let the chairman.
Well, good question. Even though you started from an angle that was a bit unnecessary. What we are going to do about power, what we are going to do about agriculture, well, I'm not sure that the studio is the venue to go through that teaching and learning experience. What we have told you is that we have priorities. Corruption has to go. Power, you cannot develop that country unless you have power. So what we are going to do is to build stations. What we are going to do is to ensure that there is transmission facilities that are reliable. What we are going to do is to make sure that distribution of electricity, once it is transmitted to your location, is also effective. That is what we are going to do. But if you want me to start telling you how many stations, where they will be located, how many megawatts they will be producing, I will not. This is not the occasion and the intent for that. Please get a copy of our manifesto. There's no question of bamboozling you. The issue number 2, you mentioned agriculture. Yes, once we deal with power, at the same time we'll be looking at agriculture because it is the area where the most employment outside power can be generated. And we are going to make, and we said so clearly, agriculture a business that the young can believe in, that they can want to go into by partially mechanizing the process. There are countries, I've been to Israel when I was governor, a family subsists on just one milk producing cow. Why can't we do that in Nigeria? Why can't we copy from countries? In India, the same thing, very same thing happens. A family can feed itself, bring up its children with 1 or 2 milk producing cows. At the end of the day, what they don't consume, they bring out to the street, and these vans go around on a daily basis, picking the surpluses from every family, and they are exporting. I think one country in Africa, is it Uganda also? Is also doing that today. Why can't we do that? Those are the things we want to do, but there's no time to go public with the studio.
We have one final question to ask you, and this is from the Ben Television. We want the general in the studio. Is that possible?
It's desirable. But whether his time permits is something we can check.
This is very.
I will pass the word on. You are giving me a message.
Yes, sir.
I will pass the message on.
The diaspora would like to listen to
and
him.
I pray, yeah.
Yes, sir.
But he's in Chatham House on Thursday.
On Thursday,
and I hear the applications for attendance has been more than oversubscribed.
Oh yes,
I
mean
that is also
if it's GNB,
it's also a good opportunity.
But your last question, sir. How since the postponement of the election, it appears that the Nigerian military has made a lot of gain on security in especially Borno, which we have never seen. Bali is taken back, Mongono and all those places, Dikwa, Baga and all the rest. Does it mean GJ got it right within the last few days?
Well, it makes you wonder. Whenever they get it right and they can save the lives of our children, of our sisters, of the old and the young, we are glad and it will be celebrated. But you cannot but help but asking the inevitable question. Why did it take 6 years?
All right, sir, look at the camera. Tell what you, as an elder in Nigeria, an elder, all of us, irrespective of party division, religion, we take you very highly because you follow the like of Dr. Christopher Koladi, who have been in offices, and we know that of your impeccable character. I'm a fan of yours for being impeccable while in office. Tell all the Nigerians in diaspora what you would like them to hear.
Well, simple, really, to say thank you, and that is what principally brought us abroad, to say thank you for the tremendous work that you have done in sensitizing the international community to the dangers and the needs, requirements of the Nigerian situation. We want to say, yes, most of you may not be able to vote, that will come in future, but your influence with voters in Nigeria, the power you hold, the fact that you are part of the sustenance of a lot of Nigerian families means that you have influence beyond your not being physically at home and beyond your not being able to vote yourself. Please let them know that a vote for the APC is a vote for change. It's a vote to totally revolutionize the Nigerian situation, to bring Nigeria back to what God intended it to be, the largest black African nation in the entire face of the world, which means that we have a leadership role which for a long time we have abdicated. Change has come, change is in the air, and a vote for the APC is a vote for certain change.
On behalf of all Nigerians in diaspora, we want to thank you for coming, for honoring us. We'll always call you. And of course, anytime you are in London, we'll always invite you, and you've always honored us. We thank you very much, sir. We'll go on a short break. When we return, I'll be inviting Barrister Nwosu and other PDP and other political analysts to come in and analyze what Chief Oyegun has just told us. You don't go away, because they're coming with a different positional backgrounds. It's going to be hot in another few seconds. Thank you very much for watching, but don't go away. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.